Well, you may have heard of Vote Compass. It's an interesting tool to see which political party you may align with. But as with most things coming from academia and media, the devil is in the detail. And Vote Compass has a glaring fault. Let's check it out. So Vote Compass was launched over the weekend by Television New Zealand.
In campaign mode, a lot of you may be still umming and ahhing about how to vote. That's why One News is once again launching Vote Compass, which went live today to help you find out who you agree or disagree with as the politicians chase your vote.
Yep, and according to One News, Vote Compass has been built as a partnership between TVNZ, New Zealand political scientists, and data science company Vox Pop Labs. It's backed by the Electoral Commission as a way of driving voter engagement and is delivered in association with the University of Auckland and Victoria University. And they say results from the online poll also serve as a way to gauge the public's insight on hot topics, as they are tabulated by researchers every few days. End quote. Now, Vote Compass was first created and managed by a Canadian political scientist or scientists as a non-profit initiative designed to help voters decide who to vote for. But does it? And does it do it fairly and honestly? Well, a couple of things. Firstly, you can complete the survey as many times as you like, which is immediately a problem for good data collection and reporting and trends and surveys in general. You get to choose to agree or disagree with 30 statements about issues like health, education, the environment, and tax. And there's questions about welfare payments, changing New Zealand to Aotearoa, public transport, immigration, urban housing development, funding for universities, taxing the wealthy, hate speech, GST on fruit and vegetables. And then there's this one, which says, people who identify as women but were assigned male at birth should be allowed to compete in women's sports leagues. I actually had to read it a couple of times to get my head around it. I mean, what it should have simply asked was, should biological dudes be able to play in women's sports? And then there's a question on legalizing cannabis. Yep, they don't give up, do they? But here's the really interesting bit. There's no questions on euthanasia or abortion. Why is that? I mean, if we're asking about legalizing weed, why not similar controversial issues? Well, it's because they think they've won those debates. Extreme abortion law, dangerous euthanasia law. Let's not give oxygen to possible objections and opposition, eh? But legalizing cannabis is still definitely in their sights. And, oh, by the way, will be law within 6 months if Labour and Greens form the next government. Mark my words. Then there's questions on Māori and Pacifica health outcomes, education assessments, free lunches in schools, oil and gas exploration, prison sentences and youth crime, the Treaty of Waitangi, environmental issues, etc. And then it asks, which party are you likely to vote for? And here's where the big problem is. And you can see that from the way that One News has promoted it.
These politicians have less than 5 weeks to earn your vote.
New Zealand has lots of opportunities ahead.
For the middle class to rich.
To shape the direction of the next Rodeo.
And that's why I came to politics.
And that's something that we have to change.
I knew you were trouble.
Now, you probably recognised all of those party leaders, all the major parties, and Winston Peters, whose party is polling around an average of the pass mark of 5%. But who is this? Do you know? Well, some of you will. It's the leader of the Opportunities Party, or TOP, Raj Manji. And so in Vote Compass, you're asked how likely it is that you'll vote for those 6 major parties and also for TOP. And then you're shown a face of each leader, faces you'll all recognise. But interestingly, yep, and they include the top leader. But interestingly, they don't include any of these. Now, when I tweeted about this issue and asked One News for their response, of course they ducked for cover, a response came back from one person saying, well, Top is polling better than those other minor parties. There's only one problem. That's actually not true. In fact, in a recent One News Kantar poll from mid-August, Freedom's NZ were actually polling higher than Top. But when you look at the poll of polls, Top doesn't feature. But the media are working hard to get Top over the line. In fact, it seems that even One News are campaigning for them through this voting tool. And disturbingly, the tool is backed by the Electoral Commission. If I was a minor party, I'd be speaking to my lawyers right now. Now, in the FAQ, the Frequently Asked Questions section on the website of Vote Compass, it says this: why don't all of the registered political parties appear in Vote Compass? And it starts off by saying that by default, parties in Parliament are included. Fair enough. And then it says, if a political party does not satisfy this first condition, like Top and the other minor parties, it may also be included if it meets all of the following conditions. It is registered, tick. It fields candidates in a majority of ridings or electorates. It has a fully developed website. And it participates where necessary in the consultative process undertaken to determine its position on the issues reflected in Vote Compass. In other words, Vote Compass knows where they stand. Now, I contacted two of the parties not included. They hadn't heard a peep from Vote Compass. I then thought, well, maybe it's based on the number of candidates. I checked Top's website. They have 13 candidates. I then did a ring around of some of the minor parties. New Conservatives have 12. Vision NZ, which is under Freedom's NZ, has 25 candidates, double the number of Top. New Zealand has 6 so far. Democracy NZ has 13. So that candidate numbers argument doesn't work. So it seems like Top has been included, but inconsistently, the approach is inconsistent from TVNZ. The other minor parties haven't, because once you answer the questions, you get shown which parties you might align with. So here we are. You can see all the parties that are mentioned on Vote Compass. Guess what? All those other minor parties aren't in the list. Did I mention that they're all social conservative leaning parties as well? Now, just to prove my point, watch this video clip from the news over the weekend featuring the academics running this tool. And just watch towards the end. Check out who scores best in the shot near the end.
Vote Compass helps cut through that noise.
It plays a crucial role in making sure we talk about policies and people's views on them and the issues that affect New Zealanders in their ordinary day-to-day lives. And that's really what politics should all be about.
Jennifer Lees-Marshman's one of a number of Kiwi academics pouring through the data this year. She's done it for every general election here since 2014 and says it's a positive tool for supporting democracy.
Oh, there we are. Look who's at the top. Best score. It's not even subtle, is it?
Because it is the voters' views. It's not the journalists' views or the politicians' views or some expert views, even academics. You know, it's all about voters.
Yes, it's all about voters. Yes, there's no view being pushed. Look, this is why you should stay clear of this tool. It's not a compass that's that sharp. It's a blunt instrument pushing a certain bias. It's inconsistent, sadly. Oh, by the way, at the end, you have to answer this question. Yeah, let's all tick the box that says, I don't understand the question.